open some businesses. Turnout, so election year, everybody. Voting turnout, I'm gonna go to this one here. So, in general, we don't do a great job of getting out to vote, we Avondale. The last election, not counting this past one, the 2015 aldermanic turnout was 29%. The students really honed in on that, as 29% of people are engaged in their community. 29% of people are interested in who runs their community, who has a say in the money that's spent where they live. And that kind of hit me pretty close to heart, and as someone who's really interested in getting engaged in my community, which is why I'm standing in front of you today. And that's kind of what we're hoping to change in the bigger picture. And these are the nice little tidbits that we've learned from the IPRO that I hope we can take to heart and move forward with.
I can add something to that.
Please.
It makes me think about, again, this sense of the folks who are undocumented Polish, Latinx, and beyond, who are not able to vote. And so if we see the picture that says what number 30 something are Latinx identified, and they don't have access to voting, let's say of some of those folks, then they're relying on folks who can access votes to make decisions around the government, right, and civic engagement. And so it's really clear, right, that the importance of not only being actively engaged if you have access to voting, but also then who then represents the community that is living there, right? So this is just an important kind of moment to consider. And also for the youth in the back, right? The importance of also being actively engaged and learning about your communities, right? And so just wanted to point that out because I think it's a really important point to consider, especially as we're also thinking about how the neighborhood is changing and the class brackets, right? That are and the age brackets, and so all that to consider. Just because as we're doing our work, we have to be mindful of all the folks that are in the community, right? And how do we maintain the integrity of the history that's been here, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point. I was thinking of our seniors too, like making sure our seniors have the resources. So that's kind of the big zoomed out picture of what the students crammed in a full semester. We hope to partner with the IPRO in the future to take the next couple steps. Our big picture goal is to have a community plan where we can help inform some of the decisions. We're fully aware that the wave is coming our way and we want to be prepared for it. We want to be mindful of the past, but think to the future and think about what you guys want for Avondale. And so I guess now I'd like to open it up to you guys and hear a little bit more about what your thoughts are on Avondale, what you would like to see, what you're excited about, what you miss. Please.
Going back to like 2002, we've seen a decline in our school. We used to have 1,800 students. We now have 800 students, and it's continuing. The changes it just keeps going. And what I've noticed in the change in the neighborhood, even though it's constant, is the decline in Polish culture along Milwaukee and Pulaski. And so I've done some stuff with my kids about what can we do. I know we have Copernicus way out there in Jefferson Park, but what can we do in our neighborhood to maintain that that awareness, the culture, being visual, the identity, yes. So that's one thing that stands out with me, and some of the things that we've talked about with our kids too.
Great, thank you. Any other thoughts, concerns, questions? I'm planning on blasting Facebook and our email at some point with a bunch of questions because I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I know that sometimes it's hard to talk up in a forum and it's hard to think on the spot because I'm asking you all to think things. Yes, please.
Well, this was all industrial.
Yes.
I mean, Avondale was printers and factories and blue collar, and that was why my family moved here, was because you're always going to have a job.
Yep.
So this, for me, like when my cousins come to visit, my brothers come to, they look around and all we do is walk through and we see, all right, that was that factory, that was that shop, there was a bar over here, now it's a restaurant and stuff like that. And all that's gone. And that was where we, hell man, sorry. What Parachute was a bar called Gurney's.
Yeah.
You could go in, I could go in there and get beer and take it to my dad and my uncles in front of the house if they were to say, hey, go to Gurney's and grab some beer for us, boy. Here's the, and you could do that, you know. Not that it's a good thing. When you were a kid, it was different, you could do that.
Yeah.
You just, you know.
And there's some industrial corridors in Mel's ward, around the Rockwell corridor that they're trying to maintain some level of industrial quality. But yeah, no, it's a completely changing world, and
Completely different.
they were mostly blue collar workers' cottages. My house is a workers' cottage where it was thrown together back in the early 1900s, like most of your homes probably were. Great quality though. I'm gonna stay there forever.
And there's gonna be a huge concern and I know I voiced this opinion, and I'm really concerned for this next census, because,
Yep.
you know, the current climate, you know, and undocumented are always concerned about responding to the census anyway,
Right.
but now the political climate's gonna make it even worse, so we're really not gonna know what our real demographic is, and that's really a concern to us, because we really want to include, you know, we embrace our community, and so we really wanna know who's here, and I think it's gonna be very difficult with the next census to get a real feel of who our neighbors are. So, that's something we're really concerned about. But they did say Avondale was the neighborhood that built the city. That's what they said, so.
Please.
Another thing that we did at Riley School was also study the green space in Avondale. And we noticed that there wasn't a lot other than Brandt's Park. And so we kind of like mapped out what Parky Park is and made a plan to remove all the homes with eminent domain, and we petitioned the ward, and we wrote to several newspaper companies, and we actually made different plans on what that area would look like. And one of the things that the kids said was, well, why would they even listen to us? You know, what's going on in the city? So we looked at other green spaces in the city. And so at that time, it was when they bought that space at the cemetery over by Peterson and Western. And the park paid like a couple dollars for it from the city. And we were just like, well, if they can spend all these millions of dollars to do this, why can't they do something like this in Avondale? So green space is something that we're missing.
The Chicago Park District has recognized Avondale as one of the green space lacking neighborhood with green space in regards to green space, and so they are supposedly on the hunt for some green space for Avondale. I know some of the aldermen are working to try to find a little corner of their ward to put it in, but hopefully we'll see that come to fruition at some point. All right, they're gonna probably kick us out soon, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, so we need to move on.